Who's facilitating the meeting tonight? I guess Meredith can't be here?
Mm-hmm. Liz, are you?
Sorry, what? I,
Are you facilitating tonight?
yes. How's the sound for everybody? Am I in a good spot?
You have
Yes,
found
much better,
Okay.
much better.
Okay. Yes, I am facilitating. Meredith has a family, some family needs have come up, and she did shoot an email to Mike, and he said that he would still be happy to do his presentation tomorrow and lead some conversation at the virtual roundtable. So we'll share any plans that we finalize tonight for tomorrow with him.
Liz,
So
can we pull that, can we pull that off without Meredith?
I think since it's all virtual,
Right? But the breakout groups and whatnot,
yeah,
or
I mean, I could try right now. Can I try doing breakout rooms for us right now? So
sure.
when I click that little tab, it says create breakout rooms. And then there's an assign automatically one. And then create. And then this will, I can practice closing them too and see what that does. Okay.
Should we
Are
join? Do you want
Sure. And then if I can get you back, we're good.
to? Okay, I'm joining.
Okay, thank you. See, we can do this. We'll do this. The most important thing I think is tomorrow that Mike has his presentation together. And we have uh, Patrick and Floyd will be there to answer questions. So I think the trick will be, I know Nancy, I had forwarded questions that you suggested to be asked at the CEC meeting at the virtual roundtable. So I could find those, or we could decide now, when we do a breakout room or two, what we want the question to be for the groups. And other than that, it'll just be people sending me, if we're in breakout rooms, somebody sending me the information so I can compile any questions, and all
So
of the feedback.
whoops. So I think you're saying, so you're gonna ask that if there are breakout rooms that, someone in each room take notes and send them to you?
Yep,
And, if any of us are in any of those rooms, we should try to be the ones who volunteer to do that, probably, yes?
I would appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't recall what, and what is, so is it it's 6 to 8?
7
8:30.
to 8:30.
7 to 8:30. And Mike's gonna do a presentation that's about how budgets are built, and then also what is the kind of skinny on the proposed budget for FY 26, right?
Yes.
And he's gonna do about, what is his understanding about how much time he should take?
I think the idea was about 20 minutes. And there is a second intent, because Barb had reached out with Kylie and Justin about a meeting in town for each of us to reach out to our select boards like Kristen and Brad did, or to have a meeting in our town related to the budget and budget questions, since we tend to have low attendance at our annual meeting. And so I was hoping that the presentation that he does tomorrow, a link to that, to the recording of our meeting tomorrow, is also going to be something you could clip into an email along with the most recent budget slideshow, and then send that off to your select board members so they can look at that ahead of time and say, hey, can we come join you at a meeting for 15 minutes or so, just like Kristen and Brad did, to answer some questions directly from our select board members.
Sorry,
So I'm kind of,
I don't understand what you just said, Liz. So you're hoping that Mike's slideshow from tomorrow night can be linked so that the town by town meetings can send that out to people who might come. And encourage people, oh, I see, encourage people to see that before their town by town meetings. The pre-town
yeah,
by town meetings, right? Okay,
that's what I'm kind of hoping. So even if we don't have a lot of attendance tomorrow, it'll be a resource for us to
And maybe
share
we
out.
can use it at those meetings as well. Perhaps at the select board meeting, we could ask for them to project that. And we can walk them through it if we can.
Do our best, right? That's all we can do is our best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so Brad and I we've actually put together a virtual roundtable of sorts as well for budget presentation for Starksboro. Kind of in the same vein of what we did last year when I can't remember which iteration we were, presenting to the towns with questions. And we decided that it's best to do it virtually because it's in terms of having an in-person meeting, it's the same people. Sorry, Nancy. And it's this way.
I'm not coming to this next one.
Fine, be that way. Send Herb. But this way, it's out there ahead of town meeting, and we'll utilize the slides for from the presentation tomorrow night. But and of course I'm blanking on what day of the week it is. I think it's on the 12th that we're doing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And it, same time frame as the other virtual roundtables, so 7 to 8:30. And if it's just Nancy and Herb that show up, it's just Nancy and Herb. But we're trying to get it out there, so we'll see.
I like your idea of having the meeting virtually, and I
Yeah.
do think perhaps that we might reel in more people if they don't have to walk out of their homes into a different space. I wonder if we had linked the two, like, I think they changed the select board meeting that they're having tomorrow night. It was scheduled for a different night, and I kind of saw it and was blindsided. I was like, oh no, that's not good.
Yeah.
But even if we had them together, like one after
Mhm.
the other, we would have had the people, the warm bodies there,
Yeah.
because people are very interested in what's happening on the select board. So
Yeah. Well, and maybe even see if John McNerney has any suggestions as to, how to share out the information from tomorrow night.
yeah.
He's a good resource.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
Okay.
value in what we do tomorrow, right? There's a lot of value in the presentation we get, sharing it out widely as we can.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I've been thinking about, and maybe Liz and Kristen
Mhm.
and Barb, it might be useful. I'm not sure if this is useful to convey to to Patrick particularly, but I know that it's true that in addition to people wanting to know about what the tax impact of the proposed budget's going to be, they're going to want to know what the proposed budget means in terms of uh, what the budget's going to do for kids. What could they say about you know, what their goals are for the coming year that the board, that the budget will support, goals for their work with kids. And so we're not just talking about money, we're talking about learning, you know? I always wish for that at budget meetings. But the other thing that I think that it would be helpful for Patrick to know, and maybe he already knows it, is that although, you know, he's any staffing cuts are going to be accomplished by attrition, there still are going to be some changes that happen around staffing and class configuration in each school and that sort of thing. And anything, I just think it would be very helpful for him to speak to what are the changes that people would see in programming and class configuration, grade configurations, and that sort of thing. And anything reassuring he might be able to say about how the planning for those changes, you know, is going to be underway and is going to do everything it can to support teachers and kids as they experience those changes and so forth. I mean, do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I really hope that they'll speak to that too.
Nancy, are you hoping for some specific examples versus a generalization?
Well, yeah, and I can tell you specifically what I'm thinking about in Starksboro. I don't know that they'll be willing or to talk about it, but in Starksboro, as if I understand correctly, we're going to be going from 7 classrooms to 5. So there'll be 2 new multi-age classrooms. And so we'll be losing 2 teachers. They'll be going someplace else in the district unless they themselves are leaving anyway. But you know, I think the hope is that they will be able to have positions elsewhere in the district where there are retirements or something like that. So, I mean, I I I really want to support the budget. As the budget voting approaches, people often ask me about, you know, whether I'm supporting the budget and whether they should support the budget. And people, people will, in Starksboro, people will want to know about that change and about how it's going to affect kids and what the plan is, what's the transition planning around that that's going to be supporting such a big change in our school. And I'm sure our school isn't alone. I know, I think I know, although I'm not sure about this, that there's some big changes happening at Mount Abraham around programming that are going to be the result of losing staff by attrition. And people will be curious about how that's going to affect kids and scheduling and all of that. So it's those sorts of things. Does that
I will,
answer your question, Barb?
Yes, yes. And so I'm wondering, you're hoping this information is addressed by Patrick tomorrow at the roundtable? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, I mean, and if it isn't, I think if it isn't addressed there, what are the other opportunities for people to get that kind of information before they vote?
Right.
one thing I would say is good is, and I can shoot an email, kind of like heads up that those questions are there, is that Kristen and Brad did a great job at our last board meeting and asked those very questions, and we
Yeah.
got answers, right? So we showed how, for instance, with the school is that Starksboro's enrollment is similar to Beaman. Beaman has 5 classrooms. And so, and one of the teachers at Starksboro was meant to be a 1-year position because there was a bubble moving through and that was kind of known ahead of time. And so he did have a plan and he did speak to the changes. And I believe at Mount Abraham, there was no loss of programming. Even with the staffing changes, that the programming was all of the programs that are currently offered are going to continue to be offered to students.
Except maybe middle school second language, right?
I think you're right, but I could be wrong.
I'm
Need to check that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that that is a this year change. I don't know, but I will shoot that specific one. So what I wrote was speak
but so
to,
Liz, I understand, it isn't the justification I'm looking for, it's the answer to the question, how are we gonna make this really work for kids? You
right,
know,
and I think he spoke to internally that that's a process that with the staff and they look at students just like they do. I mean, at Bristol and Mount Ava, our experience is that you find out who your teachers will be in August usually, or at the very end of the school year. So there's planning that happens amongst the staff about which students will have which teacher, and that's kind of something they do every year. Um, in terms of transitioning from one classroom teacher to the next, right? I don't know how much, like that's almost feels like more of a principle of Starksboro question that
yeah,
much
and
deeper.
our principal speaks at our town meeting, so you know, I can talk to Andy about that as well.
I
Yeah,
was
and it's
wondering-
constantly changing as well, given our class sizes and our agreements that we've made towards class sizes. So if we go over our class size, say in kindergarten, then we do have to add another teacher. So it is changing, you know.
yeah.
I think
And
that
Patrick has committed to stick, it's okay. Patrick has committed to sticking to those class size agreements.
yeah, I think he had a really nice slide
Mhm.
that demonstrated what the average class size might look like. And, you know, now and then the comparison, which seemed, I understand it seems horrible as a teacher too, coming into it saying, oh, we were 7 classrooms and now we're 5, and it feels like, oh, are we gonna have so many more children in our classroom? But I think that that chart, when I looked at it, really kind of calmed that fear. Does that make sense? I don't know if the rest of you agreed with that. It didn't look as scary as what I thought it could look like.
And
I
I
think
and I
class sizes are all around 16, average 16. So they're still way below
Yeah.
national or our neighboring schools.
and I
So
did put
certainly
in my note
showing
as
that, that's part of Mike's slide, I imagine, that he's gonna use, right?
I'm not sure that he's using all the same ones,
Okay,
but because I think he kind of put together his own mini version.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I will send that to
I mean,
Patrick as
even
well.
if it
And
isn't
also,
about, even if it isn't about the issue I'm talking about, I guess my plea is, can we please talk about kids and learning and what this budget will accomplish, that we're hoping it will accomplish across the district and in individual schools? I mean, let's it'd be nice to generate some excitement about that, you know?
so yeah, I have that speak to the positive work being done in schools and what we were hoping it will accomplish. And I
Yeah.
think that has been kind of said, but I'll shoot an email tonight just so even if it's not a part of the presentation, it would be a question that would be prepared to answer. And I think a fun question, right? That's kind of
Well, I
a
mean, you know, also tomorrow night isn't the only time the public is going to hear about the budget. There's going to be the regular annual meeting. There will be opportunities, I'm sure, for the administration to speak to get interviewed. They'll get interviewed by the Addison Independent. So including that kind of information whenever they're talking about the proposed budget will be helpful, I think.
I like it. And then so if we do a breakout room, or not, what question should we be posing to our community after the presentation? And there's always open-ended, hey, what questions do you have? That's always
What
a
did you,
good.
I think the ones I might have mentioned before were things like, what did you learn from this presentation that you didn't already know? You know, what
Yeah.
new information did you hear? What surprised, did you hear anything that surprised you? What, um, or concerned you? sort of general open-ended questions like that.
Meredith sent out
Yeah.
slide presentation. I just have here, a couple of questions that she has down. And it says, the first one is, what questions, thoughts, and reactions do you have about budget building? And what priorities would you like to see considered in future budgets?
So should we use those two? Does that kind of,
I think so, since the slides are already made, you know?
all right. Sorry, I didn't look at that. I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
All good.
All right, so we've got those and they're in separate slides than Mike's. Is that, or is this?
This is the slide presentation, or the virtual roundtable slide presentation that Meredith was planning on using to facilitate. So I'm imagining that if Mike gets which I think he should have, the go-ahead to facilitate, then
Agreed.
he would use this.
Perfect.
Or we can ask him if he's gonna use it along with his like presentation. I don't know. I'm just like trying to find my way through this little tunnel we're in.
Oh, I see it now. I'm looking at it. And so he has seen that and he did say, he replied to that
Yeah.
email that he would be happy to. And then
Okay.
I can just focus on admitting people and
Mm-hmm.
breakout rooms and I can just focus on that piece.
Yeah.
Okay, taking
and then-
notes.
We'll take the notes and then we should have we should have it. It should be-
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, okay. So that's really good then. Yes, we've got solid planning for tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I
Right?
think, yeah.
I'm not sure Patrick's gonna be there tomorrow night.
Oh,
I feel like
Yeah.
he had said last week
Yeah,
that he
Couldn't
had a
make.
conflict.
yeah, he's off, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Thank you,
Floyd will
Beth.
be there and Mike will be there, so.
Maybe can,
that's okay, right?
Where-
We can put these as the start of our questions. That will be a part of the compilation is
yeah,
making sure to speak for planning for the changes, like the second language in middle school. And I feel like I could go through the superintendent's reports and pull out some positive things that are happening in our schools now. It wouldn't necessarily be, because that would, I could, compile a or
you know what, we
something.
may have access through the last, and it may be in like our Google Docs or something, the slide presentation that Patrick gave on his last slide presentation on the budget, and it would have the classroom numbers, those comparisons.
Yeah, that slide deck is actually in the agenda from our last business meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So maybe we could pull that out somehow, and I'm not sure how to project it to everybody, but
Yep.
Well, I mean, I do think that it's really about the budget and what teaching and learning the budget's going to enable. And if Patrick's not going to be there, I really don't think that Floyd can speak to it.
Mm.
And I don't think it makes sense to go over what great things are happening now unless, so maybe it'll just have to wait for another time.
But that'll be the start of our feedback from this meeting in terms of what we send to the board and Patrick to be sure is
Okay.
covered on the next budget presentation that he does, because he does one.
Okay.
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 So what else is there more about tomorrow night we need to talk about tonight, or what else is on our agenda for tonight?
I think that was Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah, Facebook is on there also. So we also have a bit of a plan because Kylie, right, and Barb, you to send out and maybe give a little bit more of an idea to the rest of our board members about a community virtual meeting like Kristen set up, like just to support other board members in reaching out to their towns in a similar manner.
Did you? Okay, so I think what I heard you say, I'm gonna try and repeat this back, is that if we could get maybe a format from Kristen and Brad so that we can put together a plan to engage our select board with a budget presentation that they could see prior to a meeting with us. Did I
Yeah,
catch that?
and actually it was as simple as just sharing ahead of time. Here's the latest slide deck, you know, for the current iteration of the budget, and that was kind of it. And then we just at a very high level presented it, talked about it, and I mean, it was literally that simple. It was very informal. It, you know, I think we had like 20 minutes on their agenda, so it's, you know, it, it's definitely I definitely was overthinking that it was going to be more complicated than it was. But it was like I said, it was literally just sharing the slide deck ahead of time. We didn't even go through excuse me, let me pause for a second. So we also shared the Truex Collins report just as sort of like, hey, this is, you know, good information to know about, you know, the district's buildings. Um, but you know, kind of dig through it as you see fit. Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was very, very simple. Nothing fancy. We didn't zhuzh anything up.
And Kristen,
Okay.
that's what you're thinking you'll do on the 12th with the virtual meeting for the community?
So yeah, ish. You know,
Ish.
there's also you know, we wanted to make sure that we talk about facilities. So I'm sorry, I'll share my face. Um, so we wanted to make sure that we talk about the roof at Mount Abe, because that's going to be, you know, something that's going to be coming out of the facilities budget. Um, and then also, you know, the changes specific to Robinson. Um, but you know, we kind of kept it to those four things. I mean, budget being, you know, two different budget things. Um, but yeah, that's and actually I did a posting on Front Porch Forum today, so I can send that stuff over to you guys so that you have that information. You know, maybe just something to kind of go off of. I can't take any credit for it. Brad put it together.
Yay.
Kristen, are you inviting Andy to join that or to that
Yes.
meeting?
Yep.
So he'll probably be there virtually, I mean.
Yeah, that's the hope, but you know, we certainly, you know, it would be lovely if he could join us,
Yeah.
but it's not, you know, we obviously we understand. And you know, the question was put out there, do you have any additional feedback that you would like to add, you know, just for perspective or whatever the case may be, to you know,
Yeah.
to Starksboro.
Yeah. Okay.
So just presenting what the slides are and asking for feedback.
Mhm.
Okay. That sounds, well, now what I'll do then, after this meeting is get back to Kylie and Justin.
Mhm.
Then we can figure out, possibly a date, because then we don't have to worry about, oh, what facility are we gonna use and.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And the other thing that we did was we being Brad authoring the post, you know, provided cell phone numbers, like if it's easier to just, you know, pick up the phone and call, we're available for questions. And then also you know, we'll make the notes available for everybody and anybody who's wondering about it. The other thing was the fourth thing I should say. So obviously the budget being the top thing. Second was why there's no, you know, tax increases, because we're, you know, the savings are through attrition. And sort of explaining that, because I think a lot of people have concerns about that because of where where the attrition is coming from, and,
Mhm.
and given, the current state of everything. So helping people understand, what that's about. Um,
How general were you with the attrition, the concept of attrition? You didn't get into specific
no,
program.
but it's also, it's in the slide deck. So, um, thankfully Brad's on the finance and facilities committee, so he'll be able to speak to these, um, the questions a little bit more effectively than I can.
Mm.
Um, and he's far more eloquent than I am too.
That's what I'm worried about. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
No, I can do this.
You totally can, Walter.
Can't even fix that one. Oh dear, poor Nancy. Wasn't there with us. Sorry about that.
No, I was just looking at what Kristen posted on Porch Forum that just came out today, right? It just came
Hmm.
out today. So that helped me get oriented.
Hmm. Yeah. And the other thought, just kind of like, out of pocket, or by all means, Brad is always available to answer questions. I certainly encourage reaching out to him. He's a goodie. He'll help out where he can.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We can do this. All right.
Well, Barb, I'm wondering whether you may want Floyd or Floyd and Patrick to be there, be part of your meeting.
Yeah.
And that's, if they can do it, that's certainly, I mean, I think it's great to have board members lead the meeting, but if they can be there, I mean, virtually, that's a huge help too, because what
Hmm.
questions you and the other board members can't answer, they could help out with, and then you
Yeah.
won't have to worry.
That's a,
And in addition to that, there's the instant gratification that comes along with, somebody being able to answer the questions, right then and there,
Mm.
instead of we'll get back to you.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know it was a huge concern that to some people, I did hear um a concern that there was a conflict because of tomorrow night's two meetings over, occurring at
Hmm.
the same time. So if we have a select board meeting with the budget on the agenda, it would seem that might help smooth
Hmm.
over for the community. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I take it for what it's worth. Even if you approach it with a Front Porch Forum post of, we recognize that there was a conflict, a scheduling conflict with the select board and, the virtual roundtable that we were hosting. So in addition to that, here you know, we're putting it out there. Here's another opportunity ahead of town meeting to help understand, what this is all about. Because that was kind of the premise of the post that Brad put together was, leading up to town meeting. Um, we want to put as much information in front of you as possible and give you the opportunity to ask questions.
So, I think this is all gonna be pending a select board meeting, and I know they meet every 2 weeks, so I'm not sure where they're at in their, I think this is a special meeting that's coming up,
Mhm.
so they had one last week, so maybe next week will work.
Mhm.
I'll check that all out tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, ours is totally separate from the select board. Just for um I don't convenience sounds, kind of like a cop out, but we wanted to make sure that we got it in front of people as quickly as we can where the timing is relevant, if that makes sense.
No, you did a great job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Is Bristol gonna have any meetings also, or?
Yeah, I was gonna take tomorrow's recording, right, and the slide deck, and then send out an invitation, and I will connect with our Bristol folks and
Yeah.
yeah, do the same thing. I'm thinking all the same things. So Kristen, you supporting Barb's questions has been giving me the information I need to hopefully be successful. And I do think last spring was really good because it forced like, hey, just do it. Just go. Just
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
And that's okay. Yeah, like you're there, right?
Yeah.
And so much to learn even without knowing the answers.
Mhm.
So that's good. And possibly be more prepared for it. What the thing that bothered me the most is I do always go to town meeting and it was hard for me to hear community members ask the select board questions about the school budget
Yeah.
and have them say, I have the same question, but I don't know the answer. I just
Right.
was like, well, that's on me. I just it was hard. It was hard to sit there and be like, so they had this question, they knew this question, and I could have answered that question. It was an easy question, and I didn't connect ahead of time to allow myself to be asked that question, right? And so maybe we weren't discussing the budget, maybe it wasn't the right time, but they would have said the answer if they knew it. So I just think it's such a strong group in our community, our select boards, that to give them the information they're seeking is just really powerful town-wide. So
It's tricky. I mean, it's tricky though. I'm trying to remember what we do in Starksboro now, Kristen. I mean, there isn't really a time. We have our principal talk about the school,
Yeah.
but it isn't a conversation about the budget at that point.
No.
Our meeting's a Saturday meeting before voting day, before town meeting day. And there are some town moderators. Moncton used to be like this. I don't know if it's still that way, that the moderator would not allow, because we weren't, if
It's
voting wasn't happening there,
post Act
would not
46. Yeah.
allow a conversation about the school budget on the
Yeah.
floor. Now, I don't know, I think our town moderator would allow it if we, if the board members asked for that.
Yeah. I think
But,
so too.
but I think it's probably, worth connecting with the town moderator to see whether there's a place for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because now that they're all by Australian ballot, it makes it very hard for people to
Yep.
get answers to their questions unless they're willing to come to a meeting or a virtual meeting. So
Yeah.
it might be worth pushing on the town moderators about that question. I mean, the informational meeting that's required that happens, I forget when it is now, but it's very poorly attended.
Yeah. Agreed.
And it's not a very fun meeting anyway. So
No, it's not. Yeah, and Nancy, to your point, I think we're fortunate in Starksboro where we do have that opportunity prior to, voting day where, when we're all standing in line for, grabbing a snack from Four Winds, you know, Brad and I were there so people can ask questions, but it's not put out there, on the floor for conversation. And I don't know what the protocol is because to your point, it's Australian ballot. So do people even want it on the ballot? Or excuse me, not on the ballot, but on the agenda?
well, I mean, at the very end, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth to talk to the town moderator and see, because toward the end of the meeting,
hmm
um, if if you and Brad are there to answer questions, why wouldn't that be okay?
Yeah.
To say, are there any, I mean, it's always open for other business. Is there any
Sure.
other business? And if he would permit the board members to field any questions people have,
hmm
that would be
Yeah, that's a
good.
good point. Yeah. Yeah. And I can, bounce it off of Amy too, just to make sure that we're in compliance with, building the agenda.
Right, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I can reach out to Keegan and Amy and
We'll
you
see
know.
what Brad thinks about it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I remember at last year's meeting, I was able to answer a question about the budget.
Yeah,
Kind of came up and I said, well, I'm out here, but I can answer your
yeah,
question.
yeah, and that's
yeah.
what Brad and I did too.
But if it's not, if it's not really on the agenda and it isn't brought up under new business, other business, people
Yeah.
feel shy about asking questions about the school budget.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So that's probably something that we should, at least Liz and I, and maybe Kathy ought to talk to our town reps to see, make sure we're there in unison.
Yeah.
Have a united front.
Well, that sounds great. And it could be a part of sharing out the tentative approach for people to utilize in connecting with their select boards, right?
Mhm.
Here's another idea, another thing that you could bring to them um, about town meeting. So
Although I think it's up to the moderator. I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but I think the moderator has authority on that. And really, it's a question of what can be discussed or under other business.
Right. Right. And also the timing piece, I don't Barb, remind me when you guys have town meeting now, is it still the Saturday before? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Or-
Okay.
Yeah.
During the day, Barbara, at night?
No, I believe it's Saturday morning.
Yeah, ours is too.
Yep, same. Okay.
I
Yeah,
have
I mean, I think take advantage of it since, it's before town meeting.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when is everybody else's? I feel like it's
When is Bristol's?
we are Monday night. We go in
oh,
around
okay.
5 for the police department, and then 6 it goes into the town offices, and then we're there till maybe 10ish. So
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
yeah,
then New Haven, I don't think I know when New Haven is.
I don't know.
Okay.
But if this became a habit, like, okay, every year before the budget vote, the school board members are going to their town, because there is a preview of the budget. Like they do a budget informational meeting as well, our select board, right? So if it became something where you kind of, um, they know that the school board members are going to go to the select board every year before the budget, and um, things grow, right? They grow over time that way.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets a new standard by us all connecting with them ahead of time, and could become something to be expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give Amy a call tomorrow and after talking to Brad and see what the suggestion is.
All right, so that's really good. And that was a really important conversation because I feel like we've struggled as a board to figure out how to approach that. The first year we were a district, everybody kind of had like a play card, right? Like everybody's going to stand up and we're going to talk to our community from this. We worked on something we were going to say together in all of our different towns. So we had kind of a united message on the first year that we were a unified district. Knowing that it was coming out of the town meeting conversation. So it definitely can be asked to have a minute to speak, just like when they call your representatives, right? And they say, this is this person and this is their opportunity to speak to you. And that person stands up and gives their speech about what they've been working on. So there do seem to be opportunities, and those folks seem to kind of pop out and go among different meetings in different towns. So when they enter the room, they're called on to have their moment.
It
So
might
there are ways.
be that, Liz, that makes me think that might be helpful. Maybe you've already planned this, to get Patrick to build for you all you board members, some talking point, like a set of bullet points, talking points that you can have handy.
That's what we did the first time, and it was really helpful.
Yeah.
And
And
then
we
we
could-
stood up there together, right?
He
So
could
there
do
was
that
all,
in his sleep. I'm sure he could do it in
I'm
his
sure.
sleep.
Liz, can you put that on your list of things to ask?
Yes, yes.
I think that's important that we're all giving and getting, or at least giving the same information or allowing
Yeah, for
our,
sure.
And
Yeah.
it's sort of like, what's the skinny on the budget, you know? I
Mhm.
mean, what's the elevator pitch, you know?
Yeah.
And Aaron was putting that together with Mike, a list of bullet points to put out in Front Porch Forum as well. So that is also some internal work that we're doing as board members too. So that
That'll do it.
Yep, especially if he's out for a few days, we'll give him time to breathe in the few days, possibly maybe kind of a little bit. Yeah. But that's the idea. And if we, again, that could be a habit that we do every year and we start thinking about that once we've approved the budget in January. It's like, okay, here's our points and this is what we're taking with us.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
That feels a lot better. Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the April event. And in the link to Meredith's list, we have sending board members to each elementary school in our 4 towns to ask individual community members, what should the future of MAUSD look like for our community? In the bullets to fill out were date and time, how do we get people to show up? Can we cater? And meeting format and goals. So that is a bit of a lift for us here.
So,
Yeah.
just so that you guys know this, I at an up for meeting, an up meeting, I had a conversation with Patrick because I just wanted him to clarify about this. And what he wants to do is take this information that we get from the community with information, I guess they're talking about the same thing from his advisory committee and the information that is coming from up and put them together somehow and I think the most important information or questions will come up or wishes or wants, and Beth, feel free to jump right in. So that would start creating, and I don't want to use the same term North Star, but at least clarify what the next steps for the district might look like. And Beth, feel free to add or subtract from anything that I said, but I wanted this group to kind of have the same sensibility that I had. So where it lies in the importance, which is, I think, pretty important. Why are we doing this and why are we still doing this after we've gotten all the information from up? So to add to that, in speaking with some of the facilitators, they were suggesting that we probably use some of the answers that they got through their process to help facilitate these meetings, and I did ask the question of Susanna White. She said that they would be available to help at least help facilitate one of the meetings so that we could have, so there are resources there. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yay.
Is Susanna, is she the facilitator for Up for Learning?
Yeah. it's
Okay, cool.
One of them, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
so, the timing of it is so tricky, given what's going on with the governor.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we don't care what the governor thinks, but I know I'm pretty mad about it. So, you know, uh, we just won't know where things are going to be in the Montpelier conversations in April. But at this point, he's got the skeleton of a proposal that pretty much closes our small schools in the near future. So, and also makes our district very much bigger than it is. Like really combining us with the rest of Chittenden County.
Yeah.
And above.
Yeah.
Right.
They
So,
did,
but
they did talk.
maybe it makes sense to just pretend that's not happening when we do this conversation in April.
And I think they did talk about advisory councils, Nancy. So that was a, I thought that might be
I
a
was
thing.
happy about that for about 3 seconds, Liz, until I
Yeah.
realized it was just like a fake, because those don't get me.
I think
But
that
anyway,
the whole conversation going on is going to make this an interesting event, right? That I think because it sparked a lot of thoughts and feelings, and we still have the call for equity inclusion. We still have the call for talking about the issues that are lingering in our communities and knowing what our issues are and thinking about those things, right? I forget the list, but Jennifer posted them to us all last time about um, I mean, I know for me, substance use disorder is a huge thing in our community, right?
I'm
And
sorry, what is?
substance use disorder, right?
Right.
Like there's a lot of things that are regardless of all of so many things, right? And I know we had talked about that, I mean, not regardless, but they're relevant no matter what. So yeah, no, it's more or less regardless of whether the governor's plan happens or not, right? So I
And
don't,
whether and also regardless of whether there's still a Department of Education at the national level,
Yeah.
and whether we're continuing to get any money at all from from the feds. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just amazing what's up in the air, isn't it? Ugh.
And I
so
think
yeah,
the
so there,
fact that I think the fact that locally and nationally everything is up in the air, and so we're all in the same boat. Like our district doesn't hold the information right now. We don't have the information, and that's at everyone's knowledge. So I feel like we're all in this boat together learning. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but as far as the state, but Patrick, he feels like everything he learns, we're learning at almost the same time, right? If people are reading and keeping up, that is.
Mhm.
So,
Right. And it's also true that what the governor has proposed and what's actually going to happen are really two different things.
Mhm.
That what he has in mind is his first shot across the bow, but it's not going to end up looking like that.
And I think we do need to remember that it's, at this point, it's just a proposal. So we
Right.
can't, like freeze in the water and do
Yeah.
nothing and say, well,
And so using the April meeting to get clear ideas and share ideas about what our how we see what our ideal future would look like is can't hurt.
Yeah. Almost use it as an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
and
Mhm.
it'd be incentive for people to understand how they're feeling and thinking as the governor comes out with ideas, then they can make clearer decisions about maybe what the way the landscape would look from their perspective,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and kind of have a voice about,
and
hopefully.
that's completely in sync with the Up for Learning. What are what do we want our schools to look like? What do we want our students to learn? From student perspective, community perspective, staff perspective. So by April, we will have all that data collected and put together in a document. So I think that timing will be good for us.
So until we know a bit more about what that's going to look like from the Up for Learning work, it's hard to imagine what the community questions should really be. I mean, I'm getting a little bit closer, but, is there some way we could have a clearer sense of even what the framework for that, for the outcome of the Up for Learning work is gonna, what the categories are? I mean,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? It
yeah.
would be easy, it would be better, I think, to make a plan once we see a bit more about what that looks like.
I think, what's our next meeting, the 22nd, when more data is coming our way, Beth, with
Yeah.
Up?
Yep.
So,
Just 2 weeks away. Yeah.
yeah, we
For our
could have,
next CEC meeting, maybe we could have that, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
March 5th, it looks like, would be the first Wednesday. Is that good for everyone?
I'm gonna be out of the country, so.
Do you need a
Cool.
chaperone?
Yes.
Are you going south? Warmer climate, I hope.
Portugal.
Do we
Ah.
want to push it till the 12th? March 12th?
I'll be back the 14th if you want me there. I mean, I totally encourage you to go ahead if you,
Go ahead on the 5th.
Or we could meet in Portugal.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm all for that.
Me too.
Well, do we have a date for the April community meeting?
Not yet, but we could pick one. That is one of the things, and I think logistically just knowing the date is fantastic, but we
It's
probably
nothing
wouldn't
like knowing the
share.
date that lights a fire under you.
Yes.
Um,
So maybe for the next meeting, we could come back and some of my homework will be for the 5th to check April meeting schedules and events, right? Go on to the
Yep.
Mount Aid site, go on to Bristol
Yep.
Elementary School and just look at as many events as I can wrap my head around and narrow down the dates that way. There'll always be unexpected meetings, but for various groups, but if I'll try to come back on March 5th with a grasp of what might be a possible date with as many people available. From our-
That makes sense. And then if we had the Up for Learning stuff on March 5th to look at, then that would help us shape the plan for the April meeting.
Yeah.
Beth, is there a way that we can get data that's already been compiled, or is that being released, or I don't, not
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know either. I know they're still working on getting more data from the community. We're pretty sparse in that area. There is a timeline, Barb. I just don't have it off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
it's very organized, as you know. And
Yeah.
they're sticking to the dates. So I just know that the community, we don't have a lot of information from the community.
I wonder if we wait till our first meeting in April to plan. We can what if we set a date, but what if we planned what we were gonna ask after our first meeting in April? Because I know that there's a meeting on the 22nd, a big meeting. Is that a retreat? I think it's a retreat meeting. I'm not sure, but, and that would give us a direction. Otherwise, we might be just kind of hoping that what we put together is the right information.
Sounds good, right? So we can set the date at our next meeting on April 2nd, the first Wednesday of April. We could get more defined about what the questions will be and what we'll be presenting. And then the nice thing about picking a date as well will be that we'll be able to see if the facilitators are available to support our meeting.
Mhm.
So that's a pretty big deal. And maybe asking them when they're available in April is just as key as looking at any events going on in our communities.
So I guess I have a question, because I think we did decide to do town-wide meetings, but I don't think that they're gonna be able to do, 5 meetings, so I'm
Would they
wondering,
do the virtual one maybe for us or with us? Help us with the virtual one?
and I wonder if maybe another round table, if we could get people to it, a virtual round table might be an opportunity to
'Cause
do.
we do have an idea of a May event. Meredith has in here a virtual roundtable on the topics from the April event. So in May, a virtual roundtable, do you think they'd be able to? And maybe they could meet us at a CEC or come with on April 2nd. Come with and help us guide a little bit if
To help
That's-
design it.
Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
good idea.
guide our town by towns.
Do you want me to reach out and see if someone might be available to come to an April 2nd meeting?
That would be great. Yeah, that would
Okay.
be great.
And so I will ask,
But
and
don't we want the, well, if I think I heard you say, Beth and Barb, that the data that they're pulling together is going to be ready for you sometime in February, yes?
no,
No,
No, I
Wait.
think March, we're
oh,
hoping.
it's March 22nd.
Right.
well, the end of February, and then they do have another meeting in March. Yeah, sorry.
Right, but
I can
yeah,
get you the dates. I don't have them in front of me, so I don't want to
Yeah. but
mislead.
I don't think February.
I wonder, hang on. So I'm gonna just dig into my email and see what I could find as far as what our next meeting is with them.
Yeah, we can do-
Okay, so we are looking forward to helping your team move through your second round of data collection by February 20th. Meeting on February 20th. So I don't know if it's a retreat or,
Right, so I think we're still collecting data. You know how we put it into buckets? I think we're still in a collecting.
yeah, so March, sometime in March, they might have.
Yeah, hopefully.
Have they done this with another school district so you could see what they came up with for the other school district? Because that might give us enough to go on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as far as community connection, but they did have examples from many different districts. I think they're working with Winooski right now.
Yeah,
I remember Morrisville or the Stowe, whatever district that is now. Yeah, they shared some examples with us for sure.
would those examples, do you think, help us shape, even though they wouldn't be examples, even though the specifics wouldn't be the same as ours, would the shape of what they did with other districts help us form design and questions for our community meetings?
I don't know because ours is specific to portrait of a graduate, portrait of a learner.
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
I don't know if all districts have that,
Oh,
some are
okay.
equity and inclusion exclusively, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all
That-
very,
They're different, yeah.
Well, if what we get from Up for Learning doesn't come to us in time to plan for the April meeting, maybe we have to push the meeting to May. I mean, that's okay too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we want to make sure it's, jam-packed with helpful information and make it make it worthwhile for everyone.
Yeah.
And we could still do a virtual event in May, right? Like one in each town, 4 events, and then the 5th event is virtual. It would just be closer to, I mean, should we tentatively plan that way now? Because just in terms of me looking at the calendars of the school districts, should we think about doing all of these in May?
Or would the Up for Learning person who says they could help us be able already know enough to help us do the design?
What do you think, Beth? I think the answer might be yes, but
Yeah, I think they're so good at facilitating. That's what they do. So yeah, I absolutely think so. I just think we need the survey information though, right? We all agree with that.
Mhm.
We need to get the output and I do believe it's all gonna go to the greater community, you know? So it'd be nice if everyone had that information prior to.
I think you're right, Beth. And I think the other thing maybe to keep in mind, how long can Patrick wait for the information? Because he was going to use that to guide him. So, yeah. So I think that, like, if it's going to be a moot point and he's already passed his benchmark of needing, synthesizing the information, we may be doing this for nothing. So I just want to make sure.
And April is a quick month because we have the April vacation week, and I've been warned many times not to take advantage of that week. So, unless we were like, all of this is happening the first week of May. So maybe that's another quick check-in with Patrick.
Is
Yeah.
is the Up for Learning process, I mean, I know they have I know enough about their organization to know that they have done lots of work with students, teaching them facilitating skills and protocols, right? I don't know if that's what they're doing with us. Are they doing that? They're not.
No,
Okay.
we're just getting student voice, right?
I just wonder if students might help lead these community meetings.
That's a really good idea. Because
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say they're not learning to facilitate, but they're part of the process and they're witnessing excellent facilitation of meetings. And
Well, what
they've been in it since day one from second grade to seniors, so maybe third grade, but yeah.
I know in Moncton, they did all the work. I mean, their teacher created the scaffold, but they did all the work. So,
well, I mean, leading a meeting with grown-ups is an intimidating thing to do, even if you're a grown-up. So,
yeah,
so, so maybe that's a reach too far. I don't know, but it's just an idea.
I think your idea is well worth a thought, not necessarily in leading, but helping facilitate. There may be a coordinator, but they may have key roles in the
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Yeah, they're co-facilitating now, there's some that are doing more than others, for sure.
Mhm.
No, I think
Well,
it'd be
is that-
powerful for the community to see the students themselves.
Yeah.
You're gonna read about it on paper, but to actually see, yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
So that may be about as far as we can go tonight on that piece.
I would agree.
And then the last thing on our agenda for the evening. I believe was the CEC Facebook page. I have not researched any of the rules or restrictions that we're allowed to impose in terms of monitoring the page. So
So
it's
maybe-
logistics.
Maybe we have to table that one too.
I think we should, because I feel like that was something that Meredith was going to look into.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable taking on that responsibility at all. That's I think that's a big beast where um I don't know. I feel like just with just with the nastiness in all social media these days, I'm just yeah, I think we need to table it.
Okay.
I just had a thought and I agree with you, first of all. But what if we invited Bailey
Yeah.
to come and talk to us about how she runs the Moncton Facebook page and
Yeah.
the do's and don'ts or
Yeah. And maybe Kim Callahan too, because I feel like
yeah.
Kim, I think she does the New Haven side of things.
She has an unofficial New Haven page, right?
Right,
Run by
right.
her, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
awesome.
yeah, like there's a part of me that's just maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction, um, where just some of the volatility of some of the community members are just like super quick to just, you know, post nasty comments, and unless we have somebody that's able to, monitor it. I mean, I don't even know how to even set something like that up. So
Yeah.
yeah, Barb, I think you've got a good point.
Yeah.
So
I see it as a lot of work. I mean,
I
but
do
I could be
too.
wrong. Be wrong.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's a really big beast to tackle. And I think that um, I personally have my reservations.
Mm.
And we can certainly use the district Facebook page, right?
Right.
Rather than be independent. Because I know that one is monitored and I think comments are just not, I think comments are not in, you're not allowed to comment. You can like, but I don't think you can actually comment. And I know that that could be just something we do.
But
Post out
Meredith,
that.
Meredith had a vision. I mean,
Yeah, she did.
I think we need her to.
Yeah, we need her a little bit. And I think it's
Yeah. Sure.
cool to think about how Front Porch Forum is great. We're not always in the paper. We're not direct. And I think this is where she really got me on board was with this idea was being able to put the narrative forward, right? All of these things, like talking about the questions you presented, Nancy, the good things in the schools. Not that that's not on the district page. And I liked assuming there was I mean, and maybe somebody goes to post and none of us are looking at it or monitoring it that day. So their post doesn't show up for 2 days later, right? Like just because it has to get approved before it goes up. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like so let's invite, even if they can't make it to the next meeting, I'm sure they'd write something up for us to kind of pros and cons or lessons learned, um, and see where it takes us. There's so hard to get information out, and surprisingly, I'm not friends with all of the people from all of our 5 towns on my Facebook, right? Like, because your personal Facebook, I have like a little space, right? And even that, I'm very limited. I basically only share school board stuff. Like, that's how uncomfortable I personally am with Facebook and sharing on it. I don't like a lot of things about it, and I get nervous just in general. But if this would be a way to really have 4,000 people are friends of this CEC Facebook page, I would utilize it for sure. So I don't know. I look forward to Meredith kind of reinvigorating and getting more information. And we'll table it for now and wait for her energy and enthusiasm to come carry us forward with this.
Before we adjourn tonight, I just wanted to let you all know that in the face of the governor's proposal, and in the face of really general concern that we all share, I think, about wanting to make sure that the cost of public schools is manageable for people in Vermont. There is a group that has formed, that's a statewide group, called the Rural Community Schools Alliance. The Rural School Community Alliance. And it's a group of people from around the state who are committed to finding solutions to the problem of the rising costs of our schools, but also committed to making sure that that happens in a way that preserves our rural community schools. And I'm very connected with that group, and I'm helping the group in whatever ways that I can. And if you want to know more about the group, I'd be happy to share that. Just email me and I'll let you know. I'll send you the information that I have.
Do I have your email? Is it?
It's ncornell7@gmail.com.
Thank you.
We're at the moment, the group is working on inviting school boards and select boards to join the alliance. We're going to be trying to hire a lobbyist to help us with our cause in Montpelier. But it doesn't cost anything to join. So let me know if you want more information.
Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I've heard, I think it was WDEV, I heard news reported out about the work that your group is doing, and
Yes, it was
maybe
on WCAX the other night. It was
Yep,
on WCAX the other night, and it might have been on WDEV too. I didn't hear it.
Mhm. That's good, right?
Yep.
It's,
Yeah.
so is there any other business or work that we want to accomplish tonight? No.
I think this is a great meeting. We got a lot.
And
All right.
what do you think? Is there a chance of a snow day tomorrow, Beth? What do you?
Yeah, it's not going to start till 10, but they're worried about when students are released at the end of the day, because that's when the
Right.
big snow is going to be happening. So yeah, I'm
Right.
curious.
So is there
Curious.
any inside info on that?
No, I
We
never
haven't
hear
had a
any.
single snow day and it's
No,
already
they haven't had
February.
I know, and where I live in Waitsfield, they've had 4 or 5 here
You've had
already.
a bunch of them over there, haven't
Wow.
you?
Yeah, so
I can't believe you drive that gap every day. Boy.
I know. This has been a rough winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it snowed almost every day.
I know. I know. Yeah. I get behind the plow trucks. I just follow
Yeah.
them down.
Good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
The way to do it.
Slow, but it's steady. All right. Well, everyone stay warm.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
you. Stay
Stay
safe.
cozy.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, guys.